up, guys? It's Jaydene here, today...
This is my show. What's up, guys? It's Ocean here, and today we're making... What are we making?
We're making our version of a farmhouse soup.
Let's get started. Today, I have my sister Jaydene here with me. Usually she's the one behind the camera, but for this recipe, we want to hear right here in action.
So today we're going to be creating a soup that is inspired by Portuguese bean soup. It has a lot of the similar ingredients, but because we're also incorporating a lot of farm vegetables, things local to the island, we're going to call it a farmhouse soup instead.
For this recipe, you need 1 whole smoked pork shank, bone in, 10-ounce Country Flavah Portuguese Sausage mix, 4 medium tomatoes, large diced, 3 chicken bouillon cubes, 1 pinch of Hawaiian sea salt, 3 medium potatoes, diced, 3 to 4 carrots, diced, 8-ounce lone palm, pea, lentil, and azuki sprouts blend, half of a small cabbage, large diced, and 6 to 8 ounces of curly kale leaves, stems removed. A lot of the ingredients here are from the Pā'ina bag 25.0, so where are we going to start?
Okay, so to start, we're going to take the pork shank and place that right into a large pot that I have here on the stove. The pot isn't hot yet, but it is on high heat, and immediately after, we're going to add the water into the pot. Good job. We just want that water level covering the pork shank, so it should be right at the surface of the pork in there. And we're just gonna let this go and boil.
So we added in our 3 liters of water. It's covering the pork. Is that all?
That's it for now. It's just the pork and the water. The pork is already smoked, so it's gonna give your broth a nice flavor. And what we're looking to achieve is just have the pork nice and tender, so it's almost fall off the bone. And that's gonna take about 2 hours on the high heat.
Will our water level reduce?
Good question, Ocean.
Thank you.
So yes, the water level will reduce as it's on the fire. Just keep in mind that, you know, midway through, every once in a while, take a peek into your pot. Anytime the water goes down, go ahead and add more, just so long as your water level is always covering the pork during this boiling process.
Got it. So while we're waiting for this, let's work on this other stuff. Here, we got our Country Flavah Portuguese Sausage mix. It's the same mixture that's in their Portuguese sausage, but just without the casing.
So what we're gonna do with this is we'll actually have a little fun and make a little bit of meatballs that are gonna be dropped into the soup. Ooh. So we're just gonna take a nice pinch, it's almost like a spoonful, and they're nice and oily.
Oily oils. You don't have to add anything to this Portuguese sausage mix. All we're doing is shaping them to little balls. So after we're done with the meatballs, I'm gonna cut up all of these veggies. You know, Jaydene, I didn't know you know how to cook.
Well, technically, I would say I am the least capable in the kitchen of the family, but after watching and filming you for about 25 weeks, I think I picked up on a few things.
So our pork has been simmering for 2.5 hours, and now we're gonna move on to the next step.
So we're gonna turn the fire off. Oh. And just let your broth sit here. This is going to actually be your broth for the soup, so you want to leave that in there. As you can see, nice and tender, super soft, falling off the bone. But what he's going to do is shred away, take out all of the bones from the shank, and he's going to go ahead and pull the meat off of the bone, chop it up so that we can return it back into the soup. It's really going to depend on how long you were able to boil your pork shank. That's going to determine the tenderness and how easy it is to shred. So this went for about 2.5, almost 3 hours, which is why it's extremely tender right now. He doesn't even really need to chop. He's just sort of pulling away, shredding the meat a little bit.
This smells really good.
It does. And if you take a look at this, remember not to dump out that water that we boiled the pork in. The water should be a milky white color, really extracted a lot of the essence from the pork there.
Like a broth.
Like a broth, yeah. And it's gonna really be the stock that we're gonna add the rest of your veggies and all of that too. So we have the pot here on a low heat. This is gonna be more simmering, not a high boil. So I have here 3 chicken bouillon cubes. This is just gonna give some flavor to the dish. Next, we're gonna add in the chopped tomatoes. Ocean cut up about 4 whole tomatoes here. You wanna put this in?
Yes,
and he'll add that right into the soup.
Very carefully.
Very carefully. This is the point where in some Portuguese bean soups and other soups you can simply add tomato paste. Same concept. We want to keep this, you know, home farm focused, and so with the Kalamata tomatoes going in here, we're just going to stew this up, let it brew, and we're really creating kind of our own stock. Next, we also have some Hawaiian sea salt here. Not too much, just give me a nice pinch. We'll add that right into there. That's good, that's good. That's good. Because after, we can always see if we need to add more salt to your dish.
Smart.
So. The tomatoes have been stewing. It's been about 10-12 minutes now. I put a lid on it just to sort of accelerate the stewing process. But now we're ready to add in the next veggies.
So here we got our potatoes and our carrots. So we're gonna be adding this in.
And right now the tomatoes, you'll notice the skin sort of peeled away. They're nice and soft. Some of them may have just stewed down into your broth. And they're gonna continue to stew as we cook the potatoes and carrots in here. That looks good.
Wow, our broth really thickened up. So now I think it's time to add our meat.
The potatoes and carrots are already 50% cooked through, a little tender, and he's just going to take the pork, add it right back into the pot. We also have those Country Flavah mix meatballs that we made. Go ahead and go ahead and add it. And we're just going to carefully drop them one by one into the pot as well. Keep in mind that this won't take very long to cook.
So what Jaydene is doing now is she's skimming the top layer of oil off of the soup, because when you cook the sausage, that releases oils, and there's also going to be oils from the pork shank. It's up to you, but we recommend that you take off the top layer of oil.
So at this point, the Portuguese sausage meatballs that we made have cooked through. The potatoes and carrots are nice and soft. So we'll go ahead and finish by adding a whole bag of our Lone Tom pea, lentil, azuki, and sprouts blend.
Add this in. And what I did when we first started cooking, I soaked our blend in water so that it will tenderize a little bit more. Finally, we're gonna finish it off with some cabbage from Hirayama Farms and kale from McCann Farms.
Leafy plants, so you'll need no more than 2-3 minutes at most to let these cook down.
It looks about ready. Is it ready?
So we're almost there. The one thing I would say is that the cabbage and the kale does release some water, so you might want to do a final taste test right before you're ready to serve. So you want to sample that. Let me just stir it up. There you go. Get in there. Don't double dip. Careful, it's hot. So at this point, if you need to add a little bit of salt, make any adjustments, now's the time to do so.
It's
Good?
perfect.
Oh, just like me.
We know there's many Portuguese bean soup recipes out there, but we didn't want to recreate the wheel.
And with all the fresh ingredients that we have, we wanted to find some way to utilize them all in one dish. Thank you so much to my in-laws, the Johansson family, who shared their award-winning Portuguese bean soup recipe that inspired this dish here today. So, I think we're ready to eat.
Yeah.
Cheers. Until next time.
That's my line. Until next time. Bye, guys.